Well, welcome back to Your Carolina. Coming up later this month, the Brain Injury Association of South Carolina will host a conference to provide support and advocacy to those living with a brain injury. And today we have someone who understands that brain injury is a journey. Dee Narungalo has experienced a brain injury in 1999, and she joins us along with Joyce Davis to tell us more about her story and more about the conference that's coming up. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Dee, tell us a little bit about your accident. First of all, we have a picture of, I mean, it doesn't look like anyone would be able to walk away from an accident like that.
Well, and I actually didn't walk away from it. Fort Mountain Rescue Squad in North Carolina used their jaws of life and got me out of the vehicle.
Wow.
So what I always say too is that I don't remember anything about the wreck. So that to me was a gift or a blessing. I was protected by not having any memories of it. And so it was 25 years ago. I just had my birthday, June 10th. I always say I just turned 25 and I look pretty good. I look pretty good to
You
be
do,
25, right? So I had to learn to walk, talk, and do it all over again. I don't recall much of it, honestly. What I do remember is being led out of the inpatient rehabilitation hospital in Tennessee with my mom and my speech language pathologist. And I remember the speech language pathologist telling my mother, do not let Deanna go back to work too soon. And I was a little bit offended because I really thought I could go back to work that next day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
And it didn't go that way, right?
No.
Yeah.
And I still went back to work too soon, even when I went back in October. The wreck was June and I went back, well, November. And it was too soon, but I did not know that.
And there's a lot of work that had to happen in between there. And I'm sure you needed a team of people to help you out with that. When did you realize that this was something that you were going to be, experiencing your whole life?
My realization that this was going to be with me all my life, and it was a journey, was probably not until 2005. So from 1999 to 2005, even though I had been told by my speech language pathologist, find a support group, go to the Brain Injury Association support group meeting, because at first I lived in Tennessee. So I went to the Brain Injury, that's Betty Lucas, and she told me, she said, you need to go to a support group. And I got mad at her and I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, oh. So when I finally moved back home in 2003 to South Carolina,
you finally found these guys.
Yeah, I don't think I went to them to ask for help. I think I went to them probably to tell them what I knew about brain injury.
Of course.
But I needed help.
Yeah, so tell us on the way out of this, like how can, this conference is coming up, who's it for and how do we sign up?
So it's for people that have had brain injuries and their caregivers, their families, as well as professionals who work in the field of brain injury. It's a one-day event it's ongoing educational sessions. We've got exhibitors that are going to be providing information about the services that they provide for folks with brain injuries. So it's a great networking opportunity and support system.
And I'm glad that you're including the caregivers on that as well, because they're a big part of that as well. And I said something, suffering brain injury, and you corrected it. I want people to understand this. What was the correction?
We don't say that people suffer brain injury, we say they experience, because sometimes, brain injury can improve some folks. They come out of it in a better way. I've had people say, if it weren't for my brain injury, I'd probably be dead right now. I would maybe go down these wrong paths. But so the experience has changed their life, sometimes for the good, sometimes for worse.
Well,
but everybody has their own experience, and if you see one brain injury, you see one person with a brain injury.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and sharing the story with us. We appreciate it. We'll put all the information about the conference on our website, yourcarolina.tv.